For Pakistan, it's a thin strip of land. So for them, the depth is not there all that much. We have a greater depth. But yet now you know that the drones also have a longer range. So for us, will we have to go as far back as Delhi now, Haryana, Delhi, because how far are we? So the drone range comes there also, right? So in case of a Sindoor plus situation, if it happens, will we have to have guns along nearby too?
No, so it is like this that, the air defense role has been divided between the Army, Navy and Air Force. To look after India's airspace. And while the Air Force is the primary respondent, but each of us, so the Army looks after the airspace in the rear areas in the TBA, tactical battle area. So we look after the entire TBA. The Air Force looks after rear air defense. So major refineries, major cities like Delhi, they would all come under the gambit of the Air Force air defense. So assuming that you have an effective identification system in place, like a good radar system in place, which is capable of detecting these drones, and you have a reasonably good engagement in a couple of tiers of defense. So you have a gun system on the first tire, maybe at 3 kilometers, then you got something at 10 kilometers, and then you have a leaker which comes through. To be very unfortunate. But assuming that you have multiple tires, it is not sequential, but the best weapon takes on the drone. So I don't think there is fear to areas in depth. I think the air defense of the country between the Air Force and us proved that in the 2-3 days of conflict, in spite of the huge barrage of drones that came pan-western borders, we have not really had civil casualties.
But they did use not just cheap drones, they used Barak, Shapar and the others too, right? So how did we take those down?
So, it is like this that...
And who did?
Yeah, so every weapon system, whether it's a gun or a missile, a V-SHORAD, a shoulder-fired missile, or the Akash indigenous weapon system, or the MR-SAM, they all have a certain altitude of operation. So, like the guns have an altitude of between 1.8 to 2 kilometers. And then you have the V-SHORAD, the next level, go up to 3.5 kilometers. So, then you have the Akash, which can go up to 18 kilometers. The MR-SAM, which goes up to 14 kilometers. The S-400 goes up to 18 kilometers. So, depending on the target which was being picked up and the cost, you realize if a plane is coming, then it's the S-400. If it's an AVAX, it's an S-400. If it's a smaller drone like a UCAV, then an S-400 would be too expensive to use. So, then you use the MR-SAM or use the Akash, and it still comes closer, then you use the gun. So the altitude of ingress decides the best weapon system. And in an automated system like the Akashti that we have currently, it's a fantastic system. It is still in the process of rolling out. But it has a system of, between the ISCCS of the Air Force and the Akashti of the Army, it ensures an effective resource allocation and an effective weapon allocation.
Do subscribe to the ANI Clips channel to get shorter versions of this podcast. Click here to watch the full episode.